Today, we are going to talk about why lack of self trust dissolves your soul. Self trust and being true to ourselves is such a big topic, really. We hear about it all the time. I know I talk about it all the time. And we even claim to embody it. But do we really? Do we really embody self trust? Um, being aware of self trust and what that really means, to live with self trust means that you can identify where and when you are disowning yourself and who you truly are when you're not trusting yourself fully. Because we can say that we trust ourselves, that we trust our decision making, but deep down, there are always doubts. Deep down, there is always comparison. Deep down, there is always fear. And as soul beings having a human experience, we are really, truly spectacular beings because we are capable of living an earthly life as humans and then connecting with Source, channeling spirit through what we do, channeling spirit through the words that we speak, through the things that we create. And what I mean create is not only being creative or creating art or painting or doing all those things. Is the foundations that we create, the home that we create for our family, the families that we birth, right? The projects that we birth, the ideas, all of those things. That's what we create, and we can channel spirit through it. And I dare to say that we are magic beings. I truly believe we are. However, what stops us from living to our full potential, it's and leaning into a soul-led life, it's fear, it's doubt, it's lack of self-trust. Even when you say or you believe that you trust yourself wholeheartedly. Okay. But if you struggle with self-trust, like so many people do, know that is not your fault. We all do it. We might be better now, or we get to a point in our lives that if we work through healing it, we manage to embody self-trust more, but we all do it at some point or another in our lives because we were conditioned from a very, very young age to not trust ourselves, right? You probably heard from your parents, your carrots, your teachers, growing up, you probably heard things like, don't touch that, it's too hot, or don't jump down from that tree because you're going to hurt yourself. Be careful. Be quiet. We say that with so much love. And the people that told us that, I'm sure it was with the most genuine intentions. But how many times have we heard this? And how many times have we said this ourselves to our children, for example? And it's just part of living and growing up in a society, with these structures, with these laws, with these systems, with these expectations. We grow up believing that we cannot trust ourselves. We cannot trust ourselves to make decisions. And that is not your fault. That's not your fault. But we get to unravel that. We get to change the narrative, right? We get to change the story by deconstructing it, putting it back together. But this time, based on our own values, based on our own beliefs, as we live now in the present moment, as we live now as the autonomous, as the responsible, as the emotionally regulated beings that we are now. We get to choose to claim who we are. We get to choose to claim our story. We get to choose to claim our truth, our calling. We get to choose to claim that these are the gifts that we bring to the world. This is the light that we bring to the world, right? We get to choose to do that. Yes, in the past, we were conditioned. We still conditioned today. But because now we know better, because now we are mature, because now we have another understanding of the world, we get to choose to change that. However, I'm completely aware that this is not easy, right? It's not easy to do these things on your own. You can't just just flick your fingers and things change. We've been conditioned for how many years? Until I started to get this kind of awareness and understanding of the world, I would say I was conditioned for over 30 years. So 30 years of condition doesn't change like that, right? And I know it's not easy to do it on our own. And that's why I created the community, the realm of the goddess. Yeah, to give support, to give you support on this journey of remembering, on this journey of healing, by giving you the opportunity to sit in circle every week, every Friday when I live. We get to, sit in circle, whoever, virtually. Virtually you get to do that. So I'm giving this opportunity, to kind of be live with people, with sisters that are on the same journey of self-discovery, of healing, because I believe it's super, super important to feel that we are not alone, right? That what we are going through is not exclusive to us, that other people share the same feelings or the same struggles, or the same similar, right, breakthroughs. So I think, yeah, it's so important that I believe it. That's why I created this Facebook community. And I also believe when we are in an environment that is supportive of our journey, it helps us to get more motivated. It helps us to be accountable, to feel supported, to feel held, and safe to do this journey, right? But I also know that some people try to do it on their own. I started by doing it on my own, and I'm telling you, it's not it's not easy at all, because you end up not knowing really what you're doing. And when we go through this kind of journey that we feel this call to break whatever cycle we are in and break the conditioning from the past. Um, you know, it's very easy to get confused. And in particular, with the theme of self-trust, it's really easy to confuse self-trust with self-confidence. And it's really easy to miss out the real meaning in its essence of what self-trust is and where it comes from in our soul's calling. And so we tend to fake it. We tend to fake self-confidence and self-trust. And sure, yes, we can fake not self-trust, but self-confidence. I think yes, we can fake it. And no, and again, the conditioning. Who never heard the quote, fake until you make it? Right? We have mentors and coaches and the media and, social media bombarding us with this belief that you can fake it until you make it, that you can fake until you feel confident, you can fake until you feel or are successful, right? So it's very easy to do it. It's very easy to portray in some way that we are, or that we have something more than it really is. And so we use it in a way to feel more confident in our abilities, to feel more confident in our skills, and to believe that really we can do it. And we even try to use the fake confidence as a manifestation hack. Yeah. Trying to convince ourselves that we are leaning into the abundant mindset and say mantras and putting up vision boards and things like that, that I'm all in for it. But if it comes from a place of faked confidence, faked trust that, yes, we deserve that, yes, we will get there, it doesn't have any substance. And that's why many people say that the law of attraction or manifestation doesn't work, or that doesn't work for them, because it doesn't come from from the truth within, from the true self-trust. And so what we tend to do is to hustle. Let's hustle harder. And say things to ourselves like, oh, stop being lazy. Like, don't be so dramatic. This is nothing. You'll get there. No. No, I can't think negative now. Let me be positive. Let me do the power pose. Let me, just stop being negative. Get over it. Come on. Yeah, even that we don't say it in the mirror or out loud, we certainly think about it. Let me know if that's you. But what does all these things do really is they close our hearts to our own truth by faking this self-confidence and hustling harder and saying these things to ourselves. We build up this wall really between ourselves and our truth, where our hearts cannot be reached, where our hearts can't feel, can't connect with our soul essence. And I feel that is so sad. when we are in this position that we are closed, that we close our heart chakra for life and for our soul and for channeling, really, source and spirit through what we can do and say and create. I feel it's really sad when we get to that point. And that is the thing, when we are not honest with ourselves about, for example, the relationships in our lives that are not really working, or our work decisions that don't really fill us up with joy or with excitement, when we are not honest with ourselves about our own needs and our own desires, and we don't set boundaries to protect, our space and to respect our beings. When we're not honest with ourselves about the choices that we make that go against our values and our beliefs and our truth, right? And we end up saying yes to things when we meant to say no, but the people pleaser in us just did it, right? But we are not honest about ourselves. We kind of play the victim, or we blame other people or the circumstances for the choices that we make. And yeah, when we do all of these things, we are disowning ourselves through the lack of self-trust, even without realizing it. Because we think that what's going to happen if we trust ourselves and honor ourselves is chaos, right? If we think of giving up our job, a job that we really don't like, don't hate, that doesn't light us up, in order to follow our dreams, or when we think about setting some boundaries to, protect our energy or protect our mental health, and we are afraid to lose a particular friendship or a particular relationship, we tend to think, again, when we think about making these kind of decisions that are aligned with our truth, we think that everything is going to fall into pieces. We think that we're going to create chaos in our life. But what we tend to imagine that's going to happen is usually much bigger and scarier than the reality. But the truth is that what we imagine is always scarier, is always is an overreaction to what the reality really is, because it's based on fear, and it's based on doubt, and it's based on the old conditioning that made you believe that you shouldn't trust yourself. And only by taking radical responsibility and exercising self-love and exercising self-trust, you manage to slowly, step by step, break those walls between yourself and between your truth, and let your heart in, right? Let your heart reach in and slowly expand into the magical being that you are. Because you are magical. You are a spectacular being. I also know that it's very, very easy to make choices that are not aligned with our with our soul essence and our truth, because there is so much noise out there. And we tend to think or to believe that other people are more experienced, more knowledgeable than we are. And so we follow their advice over our own. And with this, I don't mean to say that, when you follow someone or you reach out to someone, being someone in your personal life, like a partner, a parent, a best friend, or, someone at work, or even like someone that you decide to go to, like a coach, like a guide, a doctor. I don't mean to say don't follow their advice. If you go to them, yes, go to them to get the information. However, always tune in with yourself. You don't have to do what everyone is telling you to do. Even if they have the experience, even if they lived through the same things or similar things, even if they have a degree on it, even if they have the best intentions. Yeah, always tune in with yourself. Because when you lack self-trust, it means that you let all the noise in. And you find it really difficult to distinguish the soul signals from the noise. What your soul is trying to tell you, the synchronicities, the signals, the signs, from the noise. And we know that our soul speaks in whispers. So if the noise is too loud, you can't hear your soul, right? We know that. I talk about it all the time. And so we end up following the noise, believing that is our calling. Because if you've never or rarely, or you struggle to hear the whispers, or to hear, or to spot the signs or the signals from your soul and your intuition, you might not know the difference. So you follow the noise believing it is your soul, right? Believing it is your truth because you got so influenced, sometimes manipulated, that you actually believe it came from you, the decisions came from you, until you find that it doesn't light you up. Until you start to believe that you cannot trust your decision making. And that's even worse, until we let others or the circumstances tell us that we are not good enough. That's when we realize that we are not connected with our soul, with our truth. Because it's worth to remember that our joy comes from within us. No one and anything in the world can make you feel happy or make you fulfilled. Right? Nothing. No one. However, other people can break your spirit. And when this happens, you will need to do a lot of healing. And I mean a lot of healing around the shadows that hold you back, until you find your way back to your truth and to your soul and to your light again. when you go through someone that really breaks your heart, someone that really breaks your spirit, imagine a child that has this passion for drawing and painting. Like my daughter loves, and she's actually very talented for her age. She loves to paint and to draw. And imagine a child, maybe your child, coming to you, being a painter or being playing guitar or singing, for example. It's a passion. It's something that really lights them up, and they spend ages doing, playing, making believe. And then they come to you to show you what they've done. And instead of you praising or, showing love like they are expecting, that what they needing, it's not expecting, because I don't think children have expectations. I believe they have needs, soul needs of love and nurturing and safety. And so they come to you to feel that safety, to feel that love, and to feel nurtured and validated. And you shattered them, saying, oh, that's awful, what is even that? I imagine if I say that to my daughter, like, oh, okay, that's cool, but what is it meant to be? Oh, mommy, it's meant to be an elephant. Oh, really? It looks like something else. Maybe you have to work on this better, darling. Yeah? It just shatters their spirit. And then they start believing I'm rubbish at painting. I'm not creative. I'm not good at singing. I have a terrible voice. I don't know how to play guitar. And as adults, these things happen. Other people can break our spirits as well. And then we need to do so much healing around it in order to find our way back to us, to our light, what lights us up, our soul essence. But you get to do that. A child doesn't know how to cope with it. They don't have the emotional intelligence to do it. They don't understand it, their emotions yet. But as an adult, you get to do the necessary healing around the shadows that hold you back. And what that means is that you get to learn and acknowledge what they are, what those shadows are, how they look like, what they activate in you, and how they sound like in the moment, in the now. They might sound like your mother. They might sound like a teacher. They might sound like a kid in the playground, or a sibling that just mocked you for that thing that you were so passionate about. But it comes in the now. So how does it sound like now? And a coach of mine told me this now acronym that I like to use it when I'm dealing with my own healing, and I use it as well with my clients, which is now and notice it, own it, and then work through it. Right? So notice, what are the invitation, what are the triggers, acknowledge what are those things and how they look like, and then own it. Don't blame others, don't play the victim, don't dismiss it. Own those feelings, own those shadows. If you are ashamed, own it. If you feel inadequate, own it. If you feel too big to your boots, own it. Own your shadows and then work through it. Okay? That will help you so much because we need to be honest with ourselves about what makes us happy. We need to be honest with ourselves about what we need, about what we desire, about what we allow in our lives and what we don't, what we dream, what are our dreams. We need to be really honest with us in order to honor our soul essence and our soul calling, in order to change the story. You know, the story that we can trust ourselves to make our own decisions and fully lean into self-trust without the conditioning. And sometimes that will scare you. In a way, you know it, right? In a way, you know it. And that's why so many of us avoid doing this kind of healing, because we start to feel discomfort and we start to feel a bit scared. And yeah, we don't want to go there. And because that will scare you. Because it will invite you to get out of your comfort zone. It will invite you to be out there, to be more visible. It will invite you to speak up your truth, to feel the discomfort. And sometimes we feel we are not ready for that. But there can't be expansion without contraction. We live in a world of duality. As I always say, the yin and the yang, the dark and the light, the contraction and the expansion. It can't be one without the other. Think of the heartbeat. Imagine a heart beating in front of you. It contracts and it expands. It contracts and then expands. And is this movement of contraction and expansion that does the necessary work to make your blood pulsate through your whole body. If your heart is all contracted or your heart is all expanded and there isn't this movement, you're dead. You're linear. But we know being alive and life is not linear. We know in our lives we go through ups and downs. But that's what makes us grow. That's what makes us expand. We need this upheaval. We need this. We couldn't distinguish the bad from the good if everything was bad or everything was good, and we never knew the difference, right? We need that. So I would like to invite you to get really honest and clear with yourself. And if you feel called to, journal on it, okay? Journal on it, and I would love to invite you to come into the group and share it. And the question is, where am I disowning myself by not being true to myself? And one of the things we need to do in order to recognize where we are disowning ourselves, and when we are not trusting ourselves, is to ask ourselves, What would I do if I wasn't afraid? Imagine a situation in your life at this moment, in the now. Something in your life that you would love to do. You would love to try, or you dream of, but you feel that your self-trust is not there, right? You feel doubts, you feel fear, because we know lack of self-trust is rooted on fear and doubts. So I'd like you to ask yourself, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? What would I do if I already trusted that I'm magical and amazing? What would I do if I trust that I already have everything that I need within me to succeed? What would I do? What would I stop doing because it doesn't support what I want? What would I carry on doing because it feels good and it feels aligned? What would I do differently if I already knew that I'm on the path to achieve my dreams? And before I leave you, I would like to tell you that I have a very, 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 very small restock of my T.R.U.S.T Journaling Deck. And this deck that is here, you can barely see it because there's a little light today. So this deck here, my baby, gifts you with the kind and nurturing guidance through the stepping stones of healing, of the healing journey. By creating space to connect with yourself regularly, using the soul inquiries that are in these cards that will support your soul journey, you will be able to tap into the stories that you have been living with and that are holding you back. You will be able to get the awareness of the societal, cultural, generation, even conditioning that is repeating, that keeps coming back, that keeps persisting. And you'll be able to be guided to reflect on these stories, to reflect on these core beliefs, and heal the aspects of you that you live with guilt, with shame, with resentment. The shadows, recognizing the shadows and owning it, noticing, owning it, and working through it now, right? So yeah, I have only 2 available. It's a really small restock. I will gift wrapped it very, very beautifully with the same colors as the deck. And I will write a personal note and will send a moon crystal in a blue organza bag, organza pouch with it for free to anyone that buys these 2 decks that are left, that I've been restocked and that are in my possession. And yeah, I believe they will make a beautiful soul gift either to yourself or to a loved one, and will make you feel excited really from the moment that you open your mail and you see all it wrapped up like a perfect gift, it will help you with that, to feel excited and motivated to, you know, own own your healing journey, because you already have everything that you need. You are worthy of doing your own healing. You are worthy of trusting yourself. And yeah, you can be your own healer. You don't need anything else, right? There are payment plans available through Klarna, which most people are aware of what it is. So you can pay in 3 installments, make it more easy. And yeah, they are ready. They are in stock. I can send it next week. And you can start working on it as soon as you get it.